millions of illegals were ushered in at the southern border, you said nothing. When they abandoned millions of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan, and they flaunted a two-tier system, one for them and one for everybody else. And when they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop, you said nothing. When they passed $1 billion infrastructure that failed miserably, and they forced the public to take an untested vaccine, and when inflation punched the middle class, you said nothing. When they sent billions to Ukraine, when chemicals polluted the East Palestine, Ohio, and they ignored it, and when Americans were raped, robbed, and murdered by illegals, you said nothing. And when they implanted Kamala as a presidential nominee without getting a single vote, you said nothing. When billionaire and anti-American George Soros funded dozens of AG elections, when they turned our classrooms into a liberal indoctrination camps, and when they gave my people in Hawaii only $700 to each person after losing an entire town of Lahaina, you said nothing. When FEMA failed to help the people of North Carolina and up in the Tennessee mountains after the floods, you said nothing. When DEI weakened our military and they put our national security at risk, when they colluded with the media to create false reports, when it was open season on law enforcement and criminals reigned, you said nothing. When they weaponized the justice system to take down their political opponents, when the bureaucrats took over the White House and ran the government, when they covered up Biden's rapidly declining mental state, when they groomed our kids in school and hid it from their parents, you said nothing. When the drug epidemic exploded and thousands died annually, when they weaponized intelligence agents against American citizens, when they spent $45 million on diversity scholarships in Burma, you said nothing. They let men play in women's sports. They chanted death to America. And they burned our flags. And you said nothing. When the crime rates in American cities increased, and you said nothing. Thousands of veterans left homeless in the streets, while they give free money, food, and 5-star hotel lodging to illegals. When 300,000 migrant children went missing, and most are still missing, and nobody had a clue. When Joe Biden pardoned his friends and families, when they sent billions to Iran and inadvertently funded Hamas, you said nothing. When men were celebrated to pretend to be women, when they let a tiny spy balloon float across the United States, when 50 intelligent agents all lied to bury the Hunter Biden laptop as Russian disinformation, you said nothing. When American citizens were taken hostage and held for a year in Gaza, you said nothing. When Facebook admitted that they conspired with the Biden admin to censor the truth, when they cleaned the streets of San Francisco for the communist Chinese president when he visited California, you said nothing. When Fauci and the WHO peddled the COVID-19 virus lies, then later covered it up, you said nothing. When they sealed the January 6th Commission files, and you saw the corruption lies, bad policies, and anti-American agendas, you said nothing. So please, spare us your crocodile tears and all your fake hysteria. For 4 years, you watched the country get run down on all fronts, and you sat there on your butts and said nothing. This war on everything American humanity's existence stand for far exceed flimsy political principles and your comprehension. We are in the greatest spiritual war ever fought. So know this, now it's our turn.